And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Data Under the Sea, we have the Mexican Protoss player representing Team Super. It is Pacomike. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Data Under the Sea, we have the other player also representing Team Super, but hailing from the land of Brazil. It is the Red Zerg. It is TheZergLord. Oh boy. Oh, yeah, that was an intense semifinals that we just had, and I'm hoping that this one is just as close. As again, these two are teammates. I'm sure they practice a lot together, or at least play team games together. I do know that Team Super are big into those 4v4s, into those team game tournaments. And these two players are no slouches in their own right. The TheZergLord is also a comparable Zerg player to Ryu. The TheZergLord, you know, one of the better Zergs in Latin America. Pacomike, much more old school. A lot of people, I think I would also have to say that Pacomike is the best Protoss player in Latin America right now. Pacomike and Master are kind of vying for that spot, but I think Pacomike, because of his breadth of experience and because of his results, I think he is still solidly at number one. Solidly, but you know, again, still has a contender for that. Someone trying to shoot him down. And we'll see how this goes, because these two players are very different. We saw Master for 2 games out of his best of 3 series go for that Hero Blink Stalker style. Pacomike has messed around with it a little bit, but for the most part, he's still fond of Sky Toss. He's still fond of Zealot-based pushes or Glaive Adepts. Like, he just kind of has a different approach to the game, a different approach to PvZ, an older approach to PvZ. But despite being older, it's still good. Like, it still works. It's still amazing. Oof. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, here we go. We'll see where this kind of leads, as Pacomike for the time being is opening up with the Stargate. Kind of, again, what we would expect in current meta. But because it's Pacomike, I'm not convinced that it's even going to be an Oracle first. It could still be a Void Ray first. We'll see. We'll see. Oh. As on the side of the TheZergLord, again, pretty standard from him, going for his third base on time, taking his natural. He was able to take it. It wasn't blocked at the start of the game, so the TheZergLord doesn't have that to worry about or anything like that. The TheZergLord, talking about him a little bit, he is a much more aggressive Zerg player. Isn't really one to embrace the late game, much more of a mid game, sometimes a little bit too stuck in the mid game as well. But that's also where he excels. So yeah, we know a lot of these players, they have their strengths and they have their weaknesses, they have their own stylistic choices, and this is a part of it. Pacomike, again, I'm not surprised that he doesn't open Oracle, going for the Void Ray first to clear up the Overlord, and to keep the TheZergLord in the dark about the follow-up. The follow-up may very well be a Twilight Council. Here we go. Pacomike is going to be able to clean up this first Overlord. Going down supply, blocking the TheZergLord a little bit. Aye. 2 more Overlords are on the way to try and clean up that block. Meanwhile, Pacomike, what do we do from here? We still have a third base on time, a pretty standard macro-oriented third base. But we don't see a Twilight Council. We see a Fleet Beacon. Oh, Pacomike, you disgust me. Yeah, you're absolutely disgusting. Again, this is very 2021 meta, you know, this is very previous patch. Looks like Pacomike wants to rush into carriers. Again, this is still viable at the highest level of play. I've even seen top tier Zerg players lose to this. I still remember in the TSL qualifiers, I think Nice versus Scarlet, where Scarlet had no idea what Nice was doing, and he had transitioned into a faster Fleet Beacon into carriers and caught Scarlet completely off guard. You know, this still works. And oh boy, I worry a little bit here for the TheZergLord. It is so important that he scouts this. Meanwhile, 2 Adepts go across the map. Already 3-4 drones going down. These Adepts do pay for themselves definitely not just dealing that damage, but also forcing some Lings out, also forcing a little bit of chaos from the side of the ZergLord. And there it is. I was thinking fast carriers. No, we have a safer variety, a safer variant of Skytoss. Flux Veins are on the way, and more Void Rays. Oh boy. Not something you always want to see here, as the ZergLord is still in the dark. He does have a couple of Lings out, and he is aware of the third base, at least, so he knows that. But that doesn't really tell him much. He's making roaches. He's blindly making nothing but roaches right now. He has a decent amount of queens. He has 8 queens, which is what you expect. 8 queens are fine defensively, but we're not going to go for a queen push. That just isn't really a thing anymore. And the ZergLord has no idea. There's no Hydrogen, there's no Spire, there's nothing to respond. This is terrifying. Oh no. My hands are off the keyboard right now. I'm just willing to embrace what's about to happen here. Carriers are on the way. 4th base as well. Ling! No! He doesn't see! He dips in, but he didn't see the Void Rays. Okay, 1 Void Ray has been revealed. There we go. The rest of the Void Rays are being revealed as well. They have shown themselves. Flux Veins is revealed as well. And now immediately the ZergLord throws down a Hydroden as a response. It's not the best response. It's very late in comparison. He can still make use of +1 range at least. But this is not good. This is a scary moment here for the ZergLord. At least he has a little bit of time. At least he doesn't know that Void Rays are coming when they're in his face. You know, that Ling Scout was so important. And sure, we can talk about how he needed to scout earlier, and he did, but at least he scouted now. Meanwhile, the Void Rays are about to rock up. The Spores are not in position. This hatchery, let's all look in awe as it gets deleted. Oh? Yeah. Yep. The layer goes down. This triggers a massive counterattack here from the ZergLord. Pacomike does have enough energy for a recall if he needs it, as the Ling Roach is going to attempt to push in, but we have a carrier to defend, and Ling Roach doesn't shoot up. Meanwhile, the Void Rays rotate here towards the triangular 3rd base location. Ooh, flying a little bit too close to the sun. They take a lot of hits there from the queens, but only shield damage, no hull damage whatsoever. Lings try and counterattack, but the carriers are here. The ZergLord doesn't accomplish anything, and again, this transition into Hydras isn't ideal. We need something else to support this, and the ZergLord can't. Why? He just lost his lair, which means he doesn't have an infestation pit, means he doesn't have a hive, which means he doesn't have any spellcasters. With Hydras like this, as a response, you need either Infestors for blinding, for Microbial Shroud, or Vipers for Abducts. And he just can't get any right now because of his dead lair. Meanwhile, the Void Rays rotate around once again. They think about maybe going for the hatchery, but instead they go for something a little bit safer. They will get a kill on this Gas Geyser. I love this from Pacomike. He is transitioning. We do have more gateways on the way. We have Charge on the way as well as a Templar Archive. So Charge Archon / High Templar Storm is going to be here to support his Skytoss. He isn't just making pure Skytoss, so he's well aware that this has to have something to support it. And he's going to have it. Charge should finish by the time the Hydra timing hits. But boy, oh boy, is it going to be a timing. The ZergLord is looking to max out on Roach Hydra. He's bringing the queens as well. He is 100% all in. We have Overlords to drop creep so we can transfuse. The ZergLord is looking to end the game here and now. This is going to go one way or the other. He either kills Pacomike or he dies trying. Meanwhile, to defend the 3rd base, do we even have any shield batteries? No. Okay, we do. We have 1 shield battery for an overcharge, but very light defense. Meanwhile, we have a recall from those Void Rays. They tried to go for a bit of a run by, but it looks like they won't be able to accomplish anything. Pacomike, it looks like he's getting ready to just give up this 4th. I don't blame him because that's a lot of Zerg. There we go. A couple of queens are getting picked off one after the other. Do we have Storm? No. He has to be so careful with these High Templar. He has to pull them back. He has to wait for Storm to finish. Meanwhile, the interceptors are being cleaned up as well. We're starting to run out of units here for Pacomike. The High Templar go down. There's only 1 left. Ooh. Only one remaining. We're going to have one storm available, if that. Oh no! The High Templar goes down before 1 second before storm finishes. And the TheZergLord may still be able to hit his timing. He takes down one carrier. He takes down every single Void Ray. The 4th base goes down. Pacomike has to give it up. One storm is all Pacomike needed, but he barely couldn't get it. He couldn't keep his High Templar alive. Very good focus fire there by the TheZergLord to dive on top of them. The Cyber Core goes down, denying +3 air attack. And Pacomike, this may just be it for him. The 4th base is going to go down. 5th base has been spotted as well, so there's no way for him to save this. And Protoss, as much as we love to meme, a Protoss on 2-base economy isn't ideal. He does have a lot of carriers, but he doesn't have a bank. Look at the minerals. He will run out of interceptors. He cannot sustain this. Unless we get the juiciest storms in the world. It's possible. We need some Giga Storms here from Pacomike. Can he pull it off? High Templar move forward. Oh, they want the storm. You guess what? 44 probes went down. Pacomike does technically have a 3rd. Technically. Can he hold on to it? There's the first storm. Just catching the edge of the army. But this is still good for the TheZergLord, I think. Killing interceptors is what he wants. 2 more storms. They connect, but not quite on the Hydras. Ooh, the Lings, they dive on top of these High Templar. They force him to morph into Archons. And just like that, the TheZergLord, he can just start a step forward. Again, more interceptors going down. Interceptors that cannot be replaced. Another carrier gets focused. We have 3 High Templar, but there's no energy. Oh, there is. The storm will connect and force the TheZergLord back. Oh my god. Behind this is where I start to worry a little bit. I was talking up the TheZergLord about how he was doing it. He was breaking Pacomike, and the TheZergLord does have a better economy, but it's not an amazing economy. He has a hive. What are we doing with the hive? Where are the Vipers, Poppy? Where are the Vipers? We only have pure Hydra. Pacomike can still do this. Especially with a good enough well-placed storm. There it is. Oh, the juiciest storms that he needed. It is going to be enough. It is too much. I thought that maybe the TheZergLord can overwhelm Pacomike. I thought that killing 2 Nexuses was going to be enough. I thought it would be. I was naive. GG, well played. Pacomike doesn't need a 4th. He doesn't need a 5th. He just needs some big, thick boys, some High Templar, and some carriers. GG. Pacomike takes the first game. Again, Skytos. It still works. It still works. GG, well played. Congratulations to Pacomike for taking that first game. But again, it was only 1 game. Only 1. Oh, and we still have a series ahead of us. The TheZergLord can still bring it back. Oh boy. Oh, I believed. I was there. I shouldn't have. Oh my god, the TheZergLord, he was doing so good breaking through the bases, but I'll be honest, I'm surprised that the 3rd base towards the top survived. I'm surprised that that was able to get able to survive and get up and running the way that it did. I think without that, I do believe that Pacomike would have run out of minerals. I thought that he would have been stuck on 2 bases, but it wasn't the case. He was able to sneak out that 3rd and get a win from there. Yes, boss. And here we go. We're loading on into our 2nd game of the series, and it is going to be on Cosmic Sapphire. Oh boy. Here we go. Because spawning in the top left-hand corner of Cosmic Sapphire, we have the Mexican Protoss player himself representing Team Super, currently up 1-0 in this best-of-3 semifinals match. It is Pacomike. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Cosmic Sapphire, we have the Brazilian Zerg player representing Team Super. It is TheZergLord. Aye. Again, two teammates face off. And oh my god. And the ZergLord gets done dirty with Skytoss. I'm sure he's like, mate, we're past this meta. It isn't meant to be a thing anymore. Stop it. Pacomike says, no, it's never over. It's never going to stop. I will always rush carriers. Because that's just what Pacomike does. Fun fact, before the Void Ray meta, before the Void Ray buff, a couple of years ago, Pacomike was doing this. He was still going for fast carriers even before it was meta. So yeah, it's just what he knows. It's what he loves. It's what he loves. Unfortunately. So yeah, we'll see kind of where this all leads us as the ZergLord does open up hatch gas pool, kind of what we expect from him. And yeah, we'll kind of see where all of this takes us here. ZergLord, bearing in mind that he had a really rough start in the previous game. I was harping on a lot about the fact that he didn't know what was happening until very, very late. It took him a long time to scout and realize that it was a double Stargate opener, that it was a fast fleet beacon as well. He was taking things for granted. He only saw the Stargate, the initial Stargate, and he only saw the third base, and that's all he was working off of. He was making a lot of assumptions, and because of that, his reaction was just so delayed. Despite that, I was very impressed with the push that he was able to muster up. Like, it was a very impressive push regardless, with his queens, with his hydras, even with his roaches. They all played their part. But again, I'm sure it's a push that could have happened sooner if the ZergLord had recognized what was happening sooner. Oh boy. Meanwhile, Pacomike is switching things up here, as across the map we see a Twilight Council on the way, not a Stargate. Oh boy. So something very different here. I'm gonna keep an eye on this. Are we gonna be seeing those glaives? No, we are not seeing glaives because we have continued gas production, gas income. We have a Dark Shrine. DT opener here from Pacomike again. He is just very off meta, very, very unorthodox, which is what makes him standard in many ways. And this is where I worry a little bit here for the ZergLord. He does have an Overlord, but it's here towards the south. It's already taken a couple of hits. I don't know if the ZergLord can scout. He has another Overlord on the way, but this is so late. It's so slow. There's no Overlord speed. So it's going to take a long time for Pacomike to get anything in the main to see the Dark Shrine, if at all. He's at least confirming that Pacomike is expanding and taking a third, so things are looking pretty standard. But in a couple of seconds, the ZergLord is going to recognize, where is your Void Ray and where is your Oracle? I kept wanting to say Overlord. my brain is still waking up, okay? Oh god. I'm still waking up. Meanwhile, the ZergLord, he did at least get some safety spores. We have a spore here at the natural. We actually don't have a spore in the main, and we don't have a spore at the third. And the first wave of DTs are here. Not like this. Not like this. The ZergLord doesn't have a lair. He again only has a single spore. Oh my god, but Pacomike blindly morphs into an Archon. The DTs could have ended the game, actually. If one DT showed up at the third and one DT showed up in the main, that would have been it. Like, the ZergLord may have just tapped out, but Pacomike is giving a lot of respect to the ZergLord. Instead, he morphs into an Archon first. He's playing it safe. Spores are now on the way because the ZergLord finally scouts, by the way. he's like, ah, I need detection. So yeah, very, very late response here from the ZergLord, but he's not being punished for it, thankfully. Not being punished, and the game will go on. The game will continue. Meanwhile, here we go. We do have the double Archon drop coming across the map. I mean, we can still clear up some Overlords and we can still do creep. Like, Pacomike going for a DT opener doesn't mean that you have to do damage with DTs. You know, it just means that he missed an opportunity. An opportunity missed. Nothing more. Nothing more. As the Archons are still doing some damage, they're still cleaning up creep. They got an Overlord. They cleaned up a decent amount of Lings, actually, as well. 6 Lings go down. Still not a bad start as Pacomike does get away with his third base, and from here he is going into ground toss. As we have that gateway explosion and a robotic spade. The ZergLord does scout all of this, by the way, with his overseer, so he is fully aware that he has to get ready for a ground-based army as, oh my god, 4 more gates get thrown down. Oof, that's a lot of gates. And the ZergLord, his choice is to go Roach, Rav, I imagine, Roach, Rav, Viper. As we have the infestation bit on the way. He's reading this quite well, recognizing, okay, we're going to have either Colossus or Disruptors. Like, I need an answer. I need a secure answer, and that is going to be the Viper. You love to see it. Oh. I thought it was just going to be Roach, Rav into Viper, but no, we have a Hydra Den on the way as well. Does the ZergLord want to go Hydra Lurker Viper? Okay. I think it's kind of hard to get there from here, but fair enough, fair enough. We'll see if the ZergLord can survive long enough to actually make that tech transition happen. It's not going to be easy. Oh boy. Meanwhile, the armies are kind of missing each other. We have a bit of a Ling run by being set up here across the map. At the same time, Stalker, Archon pushing on through. There's not a lot protecting these Ravagers. I'm a little bit worried about them, but the Ling run by does slip in. Now Pacomike has to make a choice. He goes for a massive warp in back at home, but he's going to be losing a lot of workers. Does he care though? Because the Disruptors are here. And the Vipers aren't ready. Boy, Lurker Den on the way as well. Okay, decent dodges there. The Disruptors, they don't get the connections they need. One Disruptor already goes down. The ZergLord, he's holding. Yo, can he get the Prism? Up. Ooh. Barely doesn't get the Prism. The ZergLord, he forces a kill, not a cancel towards that 4th base. 12 probes went down. And he's just forcing the hand of Pacomike right now. We have the Lings coming from behind the Disruptor. The final Disruptor did go down. The ZergLord is defending beautifully here. And Pacomike, he's pretty committed right now. If he stops warping in and if he tries to expand, like, he's just going to lose too much momentum and he's going to trigger a counterattack. So here we go, the ZergLord. He just doesn't stop. He's crazy. He's trying to dive on top of this army, and with the Roach Rav, it looks like he will, despite the fact that he has a Hive, despite the fact that he has a Hydra Den, a Lurker Den, he has Hydra upgrades and Lurker upgrades on the way. Roach Rav is all he needs. I would like to see him make some Hydras though. Personally, that will be nice. And there we go. The first wave of Hydras are on the way. I imagine the Hydras are just going to immediately be morphed into Lurkers though. And Pacomike, like, he's forced back, he's licking his wounds, he's trying to expand, trying to take a 4th base. It gets scouted, by the way, so immediately the ZergLord can attempt to go for a bit of a run by. He's thinking about it, but the army is still in his face, and we still have Disruptors. The ZergLord is maxed. Oh, we see the full surround. Disruptors getting picked off. The shots don't connect. And that was the saving grace of Pacomike. He needed the Disruptor shots to connect. That was the only way for him to come back. And they're gone. They're dead. We have 1 Disruptor left. Only 1. Meanwhile, all those Hydras are being morphed into Lurkers as we speak. We already have Lurker range. Adaptive Talents is on the way. Sizing Spines, that's the upgrade. Oh. And with this, there's just no way for Pacomike to push in. He just doesn't have an answer. He actually doesn't have detection. And this time, instead of a Ling run by, we have a Roach Ravager run by. It's actually going to force the entire army of Pacomike back home. Once the ZergLord recognizes this should trigger the ZergLord to unburrow his Lurkers and just come in with everything he needs. Roach Ravager gets cleaned up, but I'm sure the ZergLord wanted to get rid of that. I'm a little bit worried because there we go. I'm like, where is the army? There we go. 16 Hydras are on the way. We have Vipers already stocked up on energy. We had a little bit of harassment going on, but the ZergLord was able to keep his workers alive for the most part. Oh. And he's ready to continue on. Pacomike just doesn't really have a win condition here. The only thing I can see happening here is if Pacomike somehow gets past the natural and he just force fields the ZergLord out of his own natural and main base, then there's a way for Pacomike to win. But in a head-on-head engagement, it's just not going to happen. There we go. First observers on the way. Our first form of detection. That's pretty big. Oh boy. Pacomike, he's still got a chance. Still got a chance. I never want to count him out. If he's able to zone away those Vipers, make sure that they don't get connections. Ooh, one Lurker goes down. Not bad, but the Vipers are coming in. Ooh. A little bit anticlimactic, but who needs Vipers and who needs Disruptors dying when we have a Nidus? Nidus into the main base. At the same time, we have a Zealot run by the main base of the ZergLord, so both players are going to be losing a lot of workers. But there is no answer to these Lurkers. That's the biggest problem right now. Pacomike is forced all in. He just pushes in towards that fourth base. Force fields the army away. But the Vipers yoink every single Disruptor. Now we only have pure Blink Stalkers. That's it. That's all we got. That is all we have. And to be fair, the Zealots actually did a lot of damage in the main base. 26 drones went down. Can Pacomike pull this off? Can he pull this off? I just don't think there's a way. Like, we have defensive Lurkers, they blink on forward, they're forced to engage with the Hydras, but the Stalkers are falling left and right. Pacomike has a little bit of a bank, but he lost his main. GG gets called. And the ZergLord takes game number 2 and ties up the series 1-1. Oh. GG. Oh. GG. Well played. Congratulations there to the ZergLord for tying up that series. Oh, I was really worried for him after game number 1. I was worried that his spirit was going to be broken after losing to Skytoss. But no. He's okay. He's still in this. He's still willing to continue to fight on as best he can. And yeah, he brings it to game 3. Let's go. You love to see it. Oh boy, and with this, we are heading into the ace match. Meanwhile, I'm not entirely sure as to as to how things are going to be going here, because I've been invited to cast. It looks like there's a new event that's happening. I don't know if this is going to be a weekly. It's Dave Tester's Friday Night Fights. We're either going to raid Dave Tester, or we may cast. We'll see. Am I up for casting again? Am I up for doing back-to-back tournaments? Do I want that in my life? Will I live? Here we go. We'll find out as we get into the ace match. Vámonos. Let's go. As a reminder, we do have Ryu waiting in the finals for these players. Who's it gonna be? Well, we are here to find out if it's gonna be this player here in the top right hand corner of Inside and Out. We have the Mexican Protoss, the best Protoss in all of Latino America, representing Team Super. It is Pacomike. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Inside Now, we have the Brazilian Zerg player representing Team Super. It is TheZergLord. Yo, shout out to J-Dolph in the chat. 10 plus carriers is pretty strong. It's pretty strong, man. Not gonna lie. See Patty Mac in the chat as well. Shout out to Patty Mac. He was streaming. I think he may still be streaming. And he's also going to be playing in Dave Testa's tournament as well. So be sure to cheer for Patty Mac there. Shout out to Asher, bro. All by myself. Just all by my. Oh god. Aye. It's okay. It's okay, puppy. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna message Asher. Hold on. Let's see if I can drag him in here. Where are you, puppy? Where are you? Asher. Are you home, puppy? As we get into the Ace match, so far, Hatchgas pull here from the Zerg. So pretty standard opener from the side of the Zerg. But we all have to admit, our eyes have to be on Pacomike, because game 1, Pacomike went Stargate into Fleet Beacon. Game 2, he went Twilight Council into Dark Shrine. He's crazy. What does he do game 3? Robo into Robotics Bay? What is there left for Pacomike to do? Whatever it's gonna be, it's not gonna be a hero style. There's no way. There's no way. Right? Show us what you got. As the Cybercore finishes up, we have a pylon in the main. What is gonna be the tech of choice? Show us, Bobby. Show us. Show us. Show us. Stargate. Okay, we have a Stargate opener from Pacomike. Now, is it for the Oracle or the Void Ray? What should make a Phoenix? Oh my god. We shall see. We shall wait and see. His first adept is moving out across the map. The ZergLord getting his third base on time, on location. Everything is looking good. Nothing too out of the norm. He's just droning, pulling out of gas. He's not staying in, so he's not going for like a Bane bust or anything like that. He's not cutting drones, so he's not going for any kind of Ling flood. ZergLord, everything is going well. Beautiful, beautiful. And oh god, this is what I mean. Pacomike, no, he doesn't make the Oracle. You know, I don't think I've ever seen Pacomike play triple Oracle into Blink Stalkers. I don't think I've seen it. I don't think he's ever done it. He doesn't need to. He's crazy. Just does his own thing, and there we have it. Void Ray first. All right, and where do we go from this Void Ray? We're on Inside and Out. He's already done it once this series. I don't think he's going to go into a fast Fleet Beacon. There we go. Twilight Council and a Forge. This Void Ray is going to be able to hunt down this Overlord, and the ZergLord is in the dark, and I'm sure he's going to be hyper paranoid about double Stargate, about Fleet Beacon, about carriers, because that's what happened last time. Oh boy. Meanwhile, 2 adepts here for Pacomike are going to be slipping on into the natural base, going to try and shade into the main, but not before 1 adept going down. Very nicely done here by the ZergLord. Even though an adept does shade into the main, doesn't have that one-shot potential, only gets 2 drones. Beautiful. And with that, the ZergLord, you know, he's been able to deal with this pretty well, but he needs to go for the follow-up scout, because across the map, it's not going to be Blink. It's going to be +1 charge lots. Now, there are a couple of tells here. One, the ZergLord with his Lings is about to confirm whether or not there's a third. And there is a third on the way, but this feels a little bit late in comparison. He's getting a couple of pieces of the puzzle. You know, he's again recognizing, okay, it shouldn't be a 2-base all in. It shouldn't be. There we go. We have a third. The ZergLord is free now to drone, and we can see it's not a fake third because it's not just charge. We have a Templar Archives. He's just going charge or Archon. That's a lot of gates though. But again, like, it is a build that takes you into the mid game here for our Protoss player. And the ZergLord is taking this seriously. We have a Roach Ward on the way, so he will have an answer to this. We are going to be working with Roach Raft. Quack. Meanwhile, I also appreciate that Pneumatized Carapace is on the way for the ZergLord. So again, he's aware that there is pressure on the ZergLord to scout right now, because you cannot take things for granted against Pacomike. You know, you have to be able to figure out what exactly he is doing. So Overlord speed is definitely going to help with that. We should be seeing an Overseer being morphed in momentarily. We should already see an Overseer actually, so this scout is going to be a little bit late. The ZergLord still unawares about the tech. Meanwhile, 2 Void Rays are about to work up at the 4th base, but the Queens are here just in time, and the Void Ray should be able to get a cancel on the 4th base, but they ooh, don't get a Queen either. Very close. Meanwhile, finally, Overseer is zooming across the map. We're gonna try and scout his opponent, and he will confirm, especially with the Ling. Okay, we have Archons, we have Charge. It is Ground Toss, and it is gonna be Charge on Archon. We need Roaches. Now. The push is coming, and Roaches are on the way. Do we have enough Roaches to defend the 4th base? With the help of the Queens, I think we got plenty. We have plenty. Oh, not if the Queens are exposed though. Oh, the Roaches behind the Queens are not what they need to be, and because of that, every single Queen is gonna go down. Ay, 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 and with the death of the Queens, that means there's no more anti-air, and is this just it? With the power of 3 Void Rays. Okay. It looks like the Void Rays are a little bit preoccupied with the Queens, despite the fact that the majority of them went down. It looks like there is gonna be enough here to defend. Ooh. That was a scary moment. Pacomike a little bit indecisive with his Void Ray control. These Void Rays could have done so much more. Again, they could have just gone ham on the Roaches. They could have killed those Queens a little bit faster. Roaches are going for a big counterattack, and we need these Void Rays to turn around. There's the recall. Oh! Oh, there's the recall, but 1 Void Ray goes down in the process. The ZergLord doing so much here, and now with the big counterattack, sure, he can't shoot up, but he has plenty of Roaches. He can power his way through the Zealots, the Archons, and he can get into the mineral line. Doesn't look like he wants to though. He doesn't want to throw away too many Roaches. Just trades with the ground army, then we'll back off. Still a good trade though, still a good trade. Oh, and the rest of the Queens are on the way as well. And the ZergLord's just going for an all-in. He's on 62 drones, and that's all you need right now. We have Overlords here to spread that creep so we can transfuse as well. With the death of all those Archons earlier, there just isn't a lot of firepower remaining here for Pacomike. He only has 1 Archon, and soon he's going to have 0 Archons. There we go. The Roach Ravager breaks on through. The Biles are going to be able to zone away. Those Void Rays Queens are pushing on forward. I'm worried that there aren't going to be enough Queens here. Hopefully they can keep each other alive and fight against the Void Rays, and it looks like they can. There's just more than enough DPS here. Overcharge is going to do whatever it can to keep the Void Rays alive, but the Overcharge runs out, and now it's just 2 Void Rays and an Immortal. We do have a Warping of Zealots, and that will help, but again, there's just too much on the ground here for the ZergLord. The timing is just too good. Pacomike, again, blundered his push earlier. I do think he could have done a little bit more with it, but the counterattack was too good. GG gets called, and the ZergLord will move on to the grand finals. We have a ZVZ. GG, well played. Congratulations to ZergLord on taking the semifinals 2-1. I was really concerned after the first. I'm always concerned. I was really concerned after game 1, but in game 2 and game 3, the ZergLord, he showed his prowess, especially once you got him into the mid game, once you gave him an army, once he was aware of what the Protoss was doing. You know, the last game, he even scouted the faster robo, sorry, not the faster robo, but he was able to scout and confirm the Dark Shrine opener and everything that Pacomike was doing. Able to keep Pacomike on a low economy, and yeah, the ZergLord, he was able to get into his game. GG. And with that, we are moving on to the grand finals. Here we go.